2026 Silverado EV Trail Boss versus F-150 Lightning STX. Hold up. This isn't just another pickup battle. This is America's electric showdown. On one side, Chevrolet's 2026 Silverado EV Trail Boss. Bold, muscular, and built to prove that off-road power and EV torque can coexist. On the other, Ford's 2026 F-150 Lightning STX, the name that started the full-size electric truck revolution, now sharper, smarter, and tougher than ever. Both claim to be the future of work, play, and power. The question is, which one truly earns the crown as America's next-generation electric truck? In this video, we'll break down design, capability, range, performance, tech, and real-world practicality to find out which one delivers the better blend of muscle, innovation, and everyday usability. So, plug in, buckle up, and let's find out which electric titan dominates the road in 2026.
Stop scrolling. If you're even thinking about upgrading to the new 2026 Silverado EV, don't hit that buy button yet, because what you're about to see might either make you cancel that pre-order or make you wish you'd held off on the 2025. The differences aren't just cosmetic. One model quietly changes the game in a way that could cost you thousands or save you trips to the charger every month. We put these two trucks head-to-head, real-world range loops, fast charge sessions, towing runs, and the exact dealer prices. So this isn't theory. It's the kind of data that actually matters when you're signing papers. I'll show you the exact miles you'll gain and lose, the charging time that actually moves the needle, the towing details Chevy doesn't shout about, and the single buy-sell rule that will tell you which truck is the smarter purchase for your life. I tested the 2026 and the 2025 back-to-back on the same routes, same chargers, and the same trailer. And the results will either make you cancel that order or glad you kept the older model. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you the exact miles you'll gain, the charging time you'll actually save, how both trucks behave while towing, and the single buy-sell rule that should decide which one is right for your life. If towing and long-distance range are mission critical for you, the 2026 is worth a look. If you want the best immediate value and can find a discounted 2025, the 2025 remains the smarter buy for most people. I'll break down why with real-world tests so you can make the call. Quick specs. Both trucks ride on GM's Ultium platform and share dual-motor AWD in key trims. But the 2026 introduces a max range tune and Trail Boss hardware that change the math. Improved thermal management, revised aero, and slightly different wheel tire choices. We'll use battery sizes, EPA range claims, peak charging behavior, towing capacity, and 0 to 60 times as the backbone for every single comparison in this video. Exterior, design, and function. Visually, the 2026 is an evolution, not a redesign, but the changes are meaningful. A slimmer front bumper, active grille vents that close for highway aero and open under load for cooling, and Trail Boss bumpers and skid protection that are genuine off-road hardware. Bed dimensions and core utility remain the same, so you don't lose practicality, but you do gain real tow and trail capability in the new trims. Interior and user experience. Cabin layout stays familiar between years, but the 2026 ships with a snappier infotainment chip and a smoother UI, firmer seats with better bolstering for long drives, and a few upgraded trim choices. Storage and rear legroom are effectively unchanged. In short, the 2026 feels a touch more refined and more usable for long-haul work, while the 2025 delivers the same core practicality at a lower entry cost. Powertrain and performance. Both trucks perform strongly, but the 2026's software tuning emphasizes sustained mid-range torque and better thermal control, so it holds power longer on grades and under load. On clean runs, the 0 to 60 delta is small. Where you'll notice the difference is during passing and sustained uphill pulls while loaded. The 2026 feels more willing and less likely to derate on long climbs. Range and charging. Range is where the 2026 extends the lead in top trims. In mixed driving, we saw the newer model return noticeably more real-world miles, and it sustains a slightly higher fast charge power window that shortens meaningful charging stops. Both trucks' ranges drop substantially with towing, roof racks, or high-speed runs. But the 2026's better thermal strategy and charging behavior reduce that penalty in real use. Towing and payload. Towing is the clearest, practical win for the 2026. Revised cooling, updated software, and TrailBoss hardware increase the usable towing envelope and reduce range loss under load. In our tow loop with a mid-weight trailer, the newer truck used less energy per mile and delivered a more confident, sustained pull. If you tow regularly, the 2026's upgrades matter in day-to-day work. Safety and driver assistance. Both trucks include Chevy's Super Cruise, lane keep, and adaptive cruise systems. But the 2026 expands map coverage and smooths automatic lane change behavior in higher speed situations. That incremental autonomy improvement makes long freeway driving measurably easier and is one of those small features that compounds during long trips. Price and trims. Expect the 2026 Max Range and TrailBoss options to command a premium over comparable 2025 trims. Real-world dealer pricing can narrow or widen that gap. If you can find a well-priced 2025 with little markup, you'll often get better immediate value. But if you need the extra towing capability or the extended real-world range, the 2026 justifies the extra spend. Pros and cons. 2026 pros. More usable range in top trims. Improved towing thermal management. Real TrailBoss off-road hardware. Cons. Higher price. Limited early availability. Mostly incremental interior changes. 2025 pros. Better near-term value if discounted. Proven availability and solid features. Cons. Shorter range and comparable trims, and older software tuning for sustained heavy use. Final verdict. If you tow heavy workloads or do frequent long road trips, choose the 2026 Max Range or TrailBoss. If you're a daily commuter, family driver, or you can find a discounted 2025, keep the 2025 and save money. Fleet buyers should run the local incentives and availability numbers. The 2025 will usually win on cost, unless your routes demand the 2026's extra capability. Which would you pick? The value-first 2025 or the capability-focused 2026? Drop your pick in the comments and tell me what you tow and how far you drive. If you want a full tow bench test with thermal cams and live range math, like this video and I'll post it next. Warranty coverage is similar across both years, and EV running costs remain lower than ICE alternatives when you factor electricity versus fuel and reduced maintenance. The 2026's software improvements may provide longer-term advantages through OTA updates, but long-term reliability data will take time. For now, both trucks represent the same general EV ownership economics, with the 2026 offering a small edge for tech-forward buyers. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around, because we've got plenty more automotive insanity coming your way. Ford just dropped something that could change the whole electric truck game. Meet the brand new 2026 F-150 Lightning STX. At first glance, it looks like your tough, everyday F-150. But under the skin, this thing packs over 500 horsepower, 775 pound-feet of torque, and a battery big enough to push nearly 290 miles on a single charge. Yeah, that's electric muscle we're talking about. And here's the kicker. Ford priced it exactly where the old XLT used to be. No crazy markup, no wild premium, just more truck for the same money. That's a bold move. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, but what's really different? What makes this STX worth paying attention to? Well, that's what we're diving into. We're going to break down the rugged new look, the tech-packed interior, the performance numbers, and all the little features that Ford quietly slipped in. So stick around. Because if you've been waiting for a Lightning that's tougher, smarter, and actually makes sense in the real world, this might just be the one. Exterior design. Let's start with the looks. Because, let's be honest, the first thing anyone notices about a truck is the face it puts forward. And the 2026 F-150 Lightning STX definitely doesn't hide what it is. At a glance, it's every bit an F-150. Tall stance, squared-off body, big road presence. But the details give away that this is the electric version. Up front, Ford has kept that bold, blocky grille design. But since it's electric, it's mostly closed off. That means better aerodynamics, less drag, and, yeah, a little futuristic vibe compared to the regular gas F-150. The STX trim gets a more simplified version of the front fascia, so you don't get the full-width light bar from the Platinum or Lariat. But you still get these sharp LED headlights that look modern without being over the top. Swing around to the side, and you'll notice this thing rides on 20-inch alloy wheels that are unique to the STX package. They've gone with a more rugged, no-nonsense design, something that looks good on the job site, but also doesn't scream luxury truck. And speaking of proportions, the Lightning STX is still massive, about 232 inches long, just like its gas brother. So whether you're in traffic or pulling into your driveway, it's going to make its presence known. Out back, it's the classic F-150 bed and tailgate look, except the Lightning-specific badging reminds you this isn't your typical V8. And Ford kept it subtle. Nothing flashy, nothing futuristic for the sake of it. It's still your everyday truck, just electrified. Now, color-wise, the STX keeps things pretty straightforward. You'll find the usual Ford palette: Oxford white, agate black, iconic silver, plus a couple standout shades like antimatter blue that make it pop a little more if you want that extra flair. Overall, I'd say the exterior is classic Ford truck DNA, with just enough Lightning touches to make you do a double take. It's familiar, but it's forward-looking, which honestly feels like the whole point of this trim: interior design and space. Step inside the Lightning STX, and here's where Ford really leans into that balance between utility and modern EV. This isn't the fancy leather-lined cabin you'd find in a Platinum. And honestly, that's a good thing. The STX trim is meant to keep things simple, rugged, and affordable, while still giving you all the basics you'd expect in 2026. The first thing you'll notice is the layout. It's classic F-150. Wide dashboard, upright stance, tons of visibility. Ford didn't reinvent the wheel here, because why mess with a formula that works? But there are some subtle Lightning touches, like the digital instrument cluster that's been reworked to show battery range, charging status, and power output, instead of traditional fuel gauges. Now, seating in the STX is cloth, but it's durable and actually feels pretty solid. You get a bench setup in the front, so technically, you can seat 6 if you need to, or flip down the center for a wide armrest with cup holders. It's that old-school practicality that truck guys love, but with a modern polish. Space-wise, it's exactly what you'd expect from an F-150 crew cab. Legroom in the back is generous. Even taller passengers won't be complaining. Headroom? Tons of it. And the flat floor design, thanks to the EV platform, actually makes the back row more comfortable compared to the gas model, since you don't have that transmission hump in the way. Storage is another win here. You've got big door bins, multiple cup holders, and that massive center console that can swallow laptops, tools, or even your lunch cooler. And don't forget the front trunk, or frunk. The Lightning gives you an extra 14 cubic feet of weather-sealed storage under the hood. And the STX still comes with power outlets in there, which is super handy for charging tools or plugging in gear on the go. So no, you're not getting wood trim or massaging seats here, but you are getting a no-nonsense, comfortable cabin with smart storage, plenty of space, and all the essentials that make it a proper daily truck. Technology and infotainment. All right, let's talk tech, because for a lot of people, this is where modern trucks either win you over or leave you disappointed. The Lightning STX may be the entry-level trim, but Ford didn't skimp out on the basics. Front and center, you're looking at a 12-inch touchscreen running Ford's Sync 4A system. It's not the giant 15-inch display you get on the higher trims, but honestly, this one feels just right. It's sharp, quick to respond, and laid out in a way that doesn't make you dig through endless menus just to change your climate settings. You've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both wireless, and Ford also includes over-the-air software updates. So this screen is only going to get smarter over time. The digital gauge cluster is another highlight. It's fully reconfigurable, giving you key EV info like real-time range, energy flow, and even power usage when you're towing. That's a nice touch. It makes the truck feel futuristic while still giving you that straightforward, at-a-glance readability. Now, sound system-wise, the STX keeps things simple with a 6-speaker setup. It's not an audiophile's dream, but it's perfectly fine for podcasts, music, or just blasting the radio on a work commute. If you want that premium Bang & Olufsen system, you'll have to move up the trim ladder. But here's something cool. Even at this trim, you get Ford's ProPower onboard system. That means multiple outlets built into the truck that can literally power tools, camping gear, or even your tailgate party. It's like having a portable generator built right into your pickup. Safety tech hasn't been ignored either. Standard features include lane keeping assist, pre-collision braking, and a backup camera with dynamic hitch guidance. Super handy if you're connecting a trailer solo. Ford's full Blue Cruise hands-free driving system isn't here. But again, this is the more budget-friendly Lightning, so it makes sense. Overall, I'd say the Lightning STX nails the essentials. You're getting modern infotainment, EV-focused displays, and practical features that make life easier, without all the overcomplicated bells and whistles that jack up the price. Powertrain and performance. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Because under the skin, the Lightning STX is hiding some serious numbers. The 2026 STX model comes with a single-motor rear-wheel drive setup as standard. That means you're looking at 462 horsepower and a ridiculous 775 pound-feet of torque. To put that into perspective, that's more twist than Ford's old 6.7-liter diesel used to give you. Except here, it's instant. Step on the pedal, and the torque is there. No revving, no lag. Just pure shove. If you want more grip, there's also an optional dual-motor all-wheel drive version, which bumps output to about 532 horsepower. Again, no gas engine, no turbos, no drama. Just instant electric grunt. And even though this is the more affordable trim, Ford didn't completely hold back. The Lightning STX can still tow up to 7,500 pounds and carry about 2,000 pounds of payload in the bed. Those numbers mean it's not just a commuter EV. It's still a truck that can do truck stuff. Now, I know what some of you are wondering. How fast is it? Well, while Ford doesn't market this thing as a drag racer, early estimates put the 0 to 60 time in the mid-5-second range for the dual-motor version. For a full-size pickup that weighs well over 6,000 pounds, that's seriously quick. And one small but important detail. Because it's electric, the weight distribution is better balanced than the gas F-150. The big battery under the floor keeps the center of gravity low, which should make this truck feel a little more planted in corners or when towing heavy loads. So performance-wise, the STX isn't just the cheap Lightning. It's still quick, still capable, and it brings that electric torque that makes every drive feel different from the trucks we grew up with. Charging and range. Okay, so performance is great, but with any EV, the big question is, how far can it actually go, and how fast can you charge it back up? The 2026 Lightning STX comes standard with Ford's 98 kilowatt-hour battery pack. That gives you an estimated 240 miles of range on the rear-wheel drive model. If you go for the dual-motor all-wheel drive setup, range dips slightly to around 230 miles, but you get the extra power and traction in return. Now, if that's not enough for your daily routine, Ford also offers the extended range 131 kilowatt-hour battery on the STX. With that, you're looking at up to 290 miles on a full charge. That's a pretty healthy number for a full-size truck, especially when you consider the weight and size of this thing. As for charging, here's the breakdown. On a level 2 home charger, that's the kind you'd likely install in your garage, you can add about 20 to 25 miles of range per hour. So an overnight plug-in easily covers a full battery. But the real magic happens at a DC fast charger.
Hook the Lightning STX up to a 150 kilowatt charger, and you can go from 15% to 80% in about 36 minutes. That's basically the time it takes to grab a coffee and a bite on a road trip. And one feature I really like is Ford's intelligent range system. Instead of just giving you a flat number, it takes into account your driving habits, outside temperature, payload, and even if you're towing, to give you a more realistic range estimate. That kind of transparency makes a huge difference for EV owners, because you're not stuck guessing if you'll make it to your destination. So yeah, it may not break any Tesla-style range records, but for most people using it as a daily driver or light work truck, the Lightning STX's charging and range setup is more than enough to keep you moving without the stress. Utility and bed features. All right, so here's the deal. No matter how advanced or electric a truck gets, if it can't do truck stuff, people won't take it seriously. And Ford clearly knows that, because the Lightning STX still delivers where it counts. Starting with the bed, you've got the classic 5.5-foot box on the crew cab model, with a payload capacity of about 2,000 pounds. That means yes, it can haul tools, lumber, gear, or even a couple of dirt bikes without breaking a sweat. The bed itself comes lined with multiple tie-down points, so it's ready for actual work, not just weekend Costco runs. The tailgate is traditional. No fancy split-fold designs here like you'll see from GM or Ram, but it's solid and functional. And of course, you've got a built-in measuring tool and cup holders molded right into the surface, which is great for anyone using it as a mobile workbench. Now, one of the coolest features that carries over from the higher trims is Pro Power Onboard. Even in the STX, you get outlets in the bed that can deliver up to 2.4 kilowatts of power. That's enough to run saws, charge tools, or keep a fridge running if you're out camping. Higher trims push this up to 9.6 kilowatts. But even the base setup here is extremely practical. And let's not forget, the Lightning also gives you that massive front trunk, or frunk. With about 14 cubic feet of space, it's lockable, weather-sealed, and comes with its own power outlets. Perfect for groceries, gear you don't want rolling around in the bed, or again, powering stuff when you need it. It's one of those EV-only features that actually makes life easier, not just different. Towing-wise, the STX is rated for up to 7,500 pounds with the standard battery. That's enough for a medium-sized boat, a camper, or a trailer full of gear. Is it as high as the top Lightning trims? No, but for most owners, it's more than capable. So, bottom line, whether you're on the job site, headed to the lake, or just running errands, the Lightning STX still works as a truck first, with some very clever extras that gas trucks simply can't match. Pricing and trims. Now, let's talk money, because at the end of the day, that's what really decides whether this truck makes sense or not. The 2026 F-150 Lightning STX is designed to be the new entry point into Ford's electric truck lineup. Pricing starts at around $54,995 for the standard range rear-wheel drive version. That's actually right in line with where the gas-powered F-150 XLT used to sit, which is smart because it makes the switch to electric feel a lot less intimidating for buyers. Step up to the dual-motor all-wheel drive model, and you're looking at about $59,000. Add the extended range battery, and the price climbs closer to $64,000. So yeah, it's not exactly cheap, but compared to higher trims like the Lariat or Platinum that push $80,000 to $90,000, this STX feels way more reasonable. Ford also kept the trim lineup pretty simple for 2026. The STX sits at the bottom as the affordable, no-nonsense model. Above it, you'll find the XLT, then the Lariat, and finally, the fully loaded Platinum Black Edition. What makes the STX interesting is that it still gives you the Lightning experience. Instant torque, big digital screens, pro power outlets, without all the luxury add-ons that most truck buyers don't necessarily want or need. And here's the kicker. With current federal EV incentives, some buyers could see that base STX dip closer to the mid-40,000s after credits. That's dangerously close to gas truck territory, but with way lower running costs long-term. So in short, the STX finally makes the Lightning lineup accessible. It's still not a budget truck, but it's definitely the most realistic option for people who want electric power without paying luxury trim money. Summary and final thoughts. So, what's the verdict on the 2026 Ford F-150 Lightning STX? Here's how I see it. This truck takes everything that makes the Lightning exciting. The instant torque, the modern tech, the clever frunk, and the to power your life on the go. And it delivers it in a package that's finally within reach. Sure, you don't get the full-width light bar, the giant touchscreen, or the massaging leather seats. But what you do get is the heart of the Lightning experience at a price that feels way more realistic. It's powerful, it's practical, and it still looks and feels every bit like a proper F-150. If you're the kind of buyer who just wants a no-nonsense truck that happens to be electric, one that can tow, haul, and still get you through the daily grind, the STX is probably the smartest entry point into Ford's EV world. Of course, range could be better, and towing heavy loads will still eat into it fast. But for everyday use, most owners won't find those to be deal breakers. So bottom line, the Lightning STX isn't about flash. It's about function. And for a lot of people, that makes it the most important Lightning in the lineup.